Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So this quick video, I'm going to be talking about some problem solving on your Harley Davidson with an M8 engine. Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So I wanted to address a couple of issues that might have been happening with the M8 engine over the last sort of 3 years or so. This is particularly with the Softails, but it has applied to the Taurus as well. And I get lots of emails from owners of M8 engines here, or bikes with M8 engines, and they're saying they're having starting problems. Now, the bike turns over, so there is power from the battery to the starter motor, okay, but there isn't any ignition. The bike isn't firing up. Okay, so this could be quite a few issues that you need to deal with and investigate. So the first thing you need to do, if your bike is in warranty, obviously you need to get the dealership to have a look at it. Get them to have a look at it, because it's under warranty. Let them fix the problem. The next thing to do is say, well, actually, if you want to try and tackle this yourself, it might be a simple fix. So here's a few things that you need to look at first of all. Now, you might think if the starter motor is turning over, then the battery connections should be fine. Actually, that might not be 100% correct. So always check your battery connections. Make sure the battery terminals, make sure that they're good and tight. Just take the seat off and you'll be able to access with a long screwdriver through the top here. The next thing to do is to take off your electrical side cover here on the left hand side and check all the fuses and check all the fuse connections as well. Now, you might say this is all very basic stuff, and you'll think, well, if the starter motor is turning over, why do I need to do all that? It's a process of elimination. That's what you're looking at. The next thing you need to look at is, have you had any work done to your bike recently? It could be a stage upgrade. It could be that you've added an electrical component. You've done a cam change, whatever. Have you had any work done to it? And has this problem started since, or relatively since, having that work done? Because that will kind of be an indication that that might be the cause of the issue, or it might have triggered a problem with the bike. The next thing to do is check all your error codes as well on the bike through your instrument module. So there's lots of videos on the channel. If you go to the two playlists, Know Your Harley Softail and the Sport Glide Garage, there's lots of videos on there on all these M8 engine bikes. Okay, so you've checked all your electricals, your battery terminals and fuses. You checked your error codes on all recent works that you've done. Now you need to check at the ignition system and the fuel system as well. It's basic stuff. Have you got fuel in the tank? Is there a kink in the fuel line underneath, let's say? Is there an issue there? Are you running old fuel? Or whatever it is, it could be something as simple as that. Check for any fuel leaks. Check your ignition coil, check your spark plugs as well. Make sure that they're not fouled up, make sure that they're sparking. All these things that you need to check. And a quick way to check your spark plugs, you're only going to be able to access 2 spark plugs without taking the tank off. You just take the spark plug out and then reconnect it into the actual spark plug cap. Have it touching the cylinder and start to fire up the bike. If you can see sparks on it, it's got a connection there, then you know it's sparking. It might be a weak spark, but it's sparking. Check the other one as well. The chances are, if you've got 2 spark plugs, one on each cylinder is working, then the others are working as well. But you may have to check all spark plugs, so that means taking off the fuel tank as well. Again, for all these procedures, you want to go back to those 2 playlists on the main YouTube channel. Okay, so you've looked at fuel, you've got fuel, you've looked at your ignition, the coil, the ignition coil and the spark plugs. That's all working. The next thing you're going to have to look at, and most people overlook this, is all the sensors on the bike. And I'm not just talking about the ones that a lot of people always name when we're considering stage upgrades, which is the O2 sensors on the exhaust. I'm actually talking about all the other ones, ET sensor, T-map, NOx sensor, crank position sensor, all these kind of sensors. What will happen if one of those is faulty, or it's not working correctly, or it's not sending the right signal? What can happen is that the ECM then shuts down. And what I mean by shutting down, it will not let the bike start because of XYZ parameters are not fully aligned, as it were. And it could be a very simple sensor. So you could fault diagnose this. You could actually just take one off in turn, replace it, but obviously that's an expensive proposition. So there are certain tests which you can do, but the best way to do it is actually just go to a dealership or go to your local mechanic, let's say, who works on Harleys, who works on M8s, and they'll be able to diagnose that fault for you. So there have been quite a few starting issues related to not the bike, not the battery or anything like that. It's been down to sensors. The most common ones so far have been the T-map sensor, the ET sensors, and the crank position sensor. Those are the three that have been the most problematic so far, or the ones that I've been hearing about through emails and through owners and through stories that people have directly told us as well. Now, this kind of all relates to the electrical, I suppose, and the fuel management. If you haven't got the right air-fuel mixture going into the cylinders as well, then that's going to cause a problem. The ECM is not going to let the bike start up properly, and it could be something as simple as that. Now, there has been a couple of other instances with ECMs or faulty ECMs as well. Not so much on the 2018 bikes. There are a few instances on the 2019, another few instances on the 2020, but already there's been a few instances, and when I say a few, we're talking a handful here. It's not widespread at all whatsoever, so don't be alarmed. I'm just saying that there have been a few instances of ECM issues. But say on the 2021s, there have already been a couple of issues as well. So, and we're talking globally here. So in terms of statistically, it's not even a number really, but they have been recorded. So if you're having starting issues with the bike, obviously it could be a whole host of reasons, and you know, if you look in your owner's manual or your service manual, there will be a whole list of reasons why the bike isn't starting. However, there could be an electrical or a mechanical issue that has caused the problem, and it's most likely to be some form of sensor on the bike that has gone or has worn out or has got a broken cable or a broken wire, that kind of thing. And that's once you've ruled out all the other issues like the electrical, the spark plugs, the ignition cord, the fuel quality and type and quantity. All these kind of things that you need to rule out before you can actually narrow it down to something else. But the most common cause so far of motorcycles that are not starting has been a sensor issue. Now, a side note here is that most of the issues that you'll have with M8 engines really come post any stage upgrade work. If you're having starting issues long after a stage upgrade, then it's likely to be something else and it's not related to a stage upgrade. But definitely any kind of stage upgrade has led to other issues, and that's why you get check engine lights, and that's why you might have to look at oil pump changes, cam changes, that kind of thing as well. Okay, I thought I'd bring this to you because I get lots of emails on this particular thing about the M8 engines and trying to problem solve what it could be. So again, if you're having issues with your motorcycle, especially if it's in warranty, definitely take it to the dealership and get them to have a look at it. Dealerships get a bad reputation for lots of different reasons. However, they should still be your first port of call if you've got a bike still under warranty. If it's not under warranty, then I would still look at somebody like a dealership or somebody that's really experienced in dealing with the M8 engines in particular to try and diagnose what it is. Okay, so just remember, check all your electrical, check your ignition and your fuel, check all the sensors and your error codes as well, and hopefully you'll be able to diagnose exactly what it is, or get somebody else to diagnose it for you without having to spend a lot of money just trying to chase down what the issue could be. Anyway, hope you found that useful. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share, check out the website RevelatorAlf.com, and I'll catch you again. Ta-da.